Jenny Turner with Lovejoy Real Estate, another episode of Real Talk. Today here we're talking to Jessica Foote around what's working in her business in Southern California and growth and all sorts of things real estate. Welcome, Jessica.
Thanks, Jenny. It's nice to be here with you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jessica Foote with Native Real Estate in California.
So let's start first with Native because I don't know anything about Native.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your brokerage and what you offer.
Absolutely. So Native is a California brokerage, and we are a cloud-based model, and we provide concierge service to our agents.
So do you run a team and you have the brokerage?
Yes. So I'm still in production, so I still have my individual team, and then I also am growing the brokerage throughout California.
So talk about your team a little bit. What's the size of that? How many agents?
Yeah. So it's a small SEAL team. So there's about 3 agents, and then we have a director of ops. And we sell primarily for our team. We sell in Temecula Valley and San Diego primarily.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And what's the market doing there?
The market is very active still. We still have pretty limited inventory. Okay. And usually we're getting an offer to 3 offers per property. Nothing too crazy.
Not 14, 21, those days
No.
are good? Okay.
No, we're lucky if we get 5. But properties are still moving within a week or 2, which is
So
really
you're
positive.
still seeing things pretty fast.
Yes.
And are most of the clients in your market moving in, moving out, moving around within your market? What are you seeing that way?
So right now in our market, we're seeing the Ds, right? So we're seeing that the people that are moving are the
Divorce,
ones...
death.
Exactly. All of that. So it depends. But we are seeing people coming into California still. We're seeing a huge exodus from California as well. And then we have a lot of people moving amongst California depending on their life changes.
And people moving out of your area. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously some of them are coming to Portland, right? We get lots of California transports to Portland.
Right.
Where else are you seeing people move?
I'm seeing people move to Texas from California. Mm-hmm. Lots of Texas, lots of Florida, and also Tennessee is another biggie.
Interesting.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
So as you're looking for new agents, maybe that's team agents or maybe that's on the brokerage side, right? Probably a little bit of both.
Exactly.
What do you look for in an agent as you're deciding if they're a good culture fit, if you're looking and thinking if they're going to make it in 2024, they're going to be able to do the stuff it takes in this market to be a good agent? What do you think is important for that?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So they need to be really brilliant, right? Because you have to be able to navigate, Tom's been talking about how it's the real estate Hunger Games.
Yep.
And we're really seeing that. So you need to be very smart. Very quick to change and to learn and be open to analyzing the situation and helping people. And then also having super high integrity, right?
Yeah.
Like when times change, people, the true colors come out. And so for us, we're just staying really true to our values, having really high excellence and high service to our clients.
Integrity is so important. Right?
It's everything. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit earlier with somebody else about hungry, humble, and smart. Mm-hmm. And that kind of goes along with what you're talking about,
100%,
right?
Yes.
Like it's those kinds of things to really be able to move the needle and be successful.
Right.
What kind of day-to-day activities are working for your agents right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually start our day with script practice. So a team, we do a team or brokerage huddle. Yep. We have a motivational minute, and then we do script practice. And then we talk about what's our number 1 goal for the day and then for the week, obviously. And then we go out and work, we prospect. And so for some of us, prospecting, since we're in wine country, prospecting can be going to the winery and meeting people, right? I mean, I
think I need to move.
Yeah, exactly. You've got some wineries.
We do. We have great wine. We have great wine.
Yeah, so it could be meeting with clients or a sphere at the winery or something. But we also make phone calls, call expireds. We're door knocking. Door knocking is working really well for us right now. And it always has.
Yep.
And really
back to the basics.
Exactly. Really pouring into our farms. And then the other piece that's working for us right now is video. So we're going all in on video at our brokerage.
Obviously we are too.
Yes.
What kind of video content are you putting out? What's working for your agents?
Absolutely. So day of the life, just Insta stories that are very authentic and real so that people can follow along in your day. Super important. Yep. And then also really great listing property videos, right? And then stories about the past, like educational stories that are short form reels, one-on-one with the camera to agent.
Like things like, hey, I had this client who this happened to kind of thing?
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
Exactly, because people love to learn through that. It's really similar to HGTV, with House Hunters and all of those kind of shows. People love to hear that kind of information.
Right. One of our agents is doing a lot on TikTok, and she does just a walkthrough video of a house. She speeds it up.
Yep.
She adds some captions and some music, and every 7 videos she puts out, she gets a client.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And she really didn't know how, Like she thought it was way more than that. We went back and we looked at the data and we're like, no, every 7 videos you do. So once a week, one new client a week for 1 video a day.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
That's so doable.
And so it's showing it does actually work, right?
Yes,
and they're
totally.
good qualified clients. Like they're like she's closing them and they're buying houses and mostly relocation, I think, in her particular situation for that.
Amazing.
But that's great on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
who would have thought?
That's amazing.
Are you doing much repurposing of your content? So if you're recording that video, are you putting it multiple places?
I am. So we're putting our videos on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And then Facebook now has that Reels option. So we're also uploading it to Reels. And
It's like every day you have to
all
keep track of it, right?
Yeah. I will say we haven't been on TikTok much. We could probably expand there.
We could expand there too.
But, you know,
Michaela's really good at it, but the rest of us aren't so good at it.
Yeah,
So
and then also putting the video on our website too, you know, and adding the tags on there. I think that's really important too for Google.
Exactly like the tracking part of it, right?
Yes, and actually with Google too, we're finding that when you post every day on Google My Business and you upload that content there too, that's helpful.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anything that you would say to that agent thinking about getting in the business and wondering like, is this for me? Should I do this? Because like I love real estate, and I think you probably love real estate too, right? Like it's like this. I could not imagine ever doing anything different. But it is a lifestyle.
It is, absolutely.
So as somebody's thinking about should I do it, what kind of things do you think they should think about?
Absolutely. So they need to think about whether they have mental toughness, right? Because right now when you're dealing with people who have life changes, you need to be ready to serve and keep a straight head when people are screaming or frustrated.
There's lots of emotion.
Yes. And then also you need to be able to constantly learn. You need to be, even if you don't know how to use technology, you need to be open and willing to learn it.
Yep.
And then your schedule, you know, there's some people that are able to handle a real estate schedule and some people can't, you know.
I think a lot of people get into real estate because you have like that flexibility and that freedom.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah, but you have flexibility and freedom to work all the time. Yeah. I have to work all the time, right?
Exactly.
So it's a hard balance, and we can walk. Like I do get to go to the volleyball game, right?
Right.
I can plan my schedule around that sporting event. I can do those kinds of things.
Right.
But yet it's a Saturday morning. I have to answer my phone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so not everybody really wants that lifestyle that real estate equates to.
Right. It requires a lot of energy.
As somebody who's been in the business for a long time, what are you finding the challenges? Is there anything in the market right now that's surprising you that you didn't expect to be true it is?
Well, the main challenge is affordability, especially in California, right? So we were just negotiating a deal that was like mid-sevens, and the payment is $7,000 a month. And when buyers start, you know, looking at the numbers, it's a lot of money. And so we're finding that we have to be really careful when we're negotiating. And so just navigating affordability is something.
Are you doing things like 2-1 buy downs or?
We are. We absolutely
to help
are.
with that? Yeah.
Yes, we absolutely are. And we're doing a lot of like assumable mortgages. So we're working on that.
Oh, interesting.
As well. And that's working well.
FHA, VA assumable mortgages?
Exactly.
And are you actually finding those are going through?
They are, yes. We've closed a couple and it's been positive. So it's another tool.
Yep,
you know?
we don't. It's not really in our market.
Right.
Every once in a while you'll see it. The challenge, of course, and maybe not so much of a problem in California, but in our market, the buyer has to have that money to make up the difference between the assumable loan amount and the sales price.
Yes.
And that can sometimes be a pretty big chunk of funds.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't seen any go through in our market, so that's good to know that like they actually do work and they actually are working.
Yeah, it's possible. I can attest.
Well, and when you can assume a loan at 3.5,
right,
those aren't rates we're going to see again.
Oh,
at
it's
least
a game
not right
changer.
now. So it does that affordability, $7,000 payment.
I know. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. And it's hard, right? Because it makes somebody like me who could be a home seller. I could, right? We have a junior and a freshman in high school, so we're getting towards that point of looking of what does that next chapter look like.
Right.
But if you think about that, I don't know, I kind of like my 3.5%.
Exactly.
Right?
I do. I like mine.
And so it's, you're back to people who are selling are motivated. They had a death or a divorce, or they had triplets, or they got relocated for a job. Like they have a reason to move out there.
Exactly.
And I think in COVID, we all kind of like lost the definition of motivated. Like it was like, I want a 3-inch bigger yard.
Right.
I'm going to sell a house and buy a new one.
Right.
And it's like, that's not really motivation anymore, right?
Right.
Now there's actually some reason to do it.
Exactly.
And that's what we're really digging in with our agents of like, figure out what their motivation is.
100%.
Like, do they need to buy? Do they need to sell?
Right.
And sometimes it's just like you have to jump on the bandwagon as a buyer because affordability, I mean, I don't think that's getting better.
No, it's not really going to
Like,
change.
I mean, prices are still going up, right? I know in our market we don't have much new construction. We have a little bit kind of on the peripheral edges, but we don't have nearly enough new construction to balance the amount of people who are moving into Portland. And so it's not like our inventory is not magically going to get better. Like I don't know where people think these houses are going to come from.
Right.
And, perception's everything. And so people think like, oh, people are moving out of Portland, but we have more people moving in than moving out.
Wow.
So population's still growing, right?
Right.
It's a balance as you go through it.
Yes, definitely.
Do you guys have new construction in your market, or
We
where
have
are you?
A ton of new construction.
So you're able to add inventory that way.
We are, and it's actually a great option for rates because all the builders, many of them are buying down rates as well.
They have deeper pockets,
exactly.
Right? How is that affecting your resale market, though?
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition, and we're having to have very tough conversations with sellers around pricing.
Are you seeing overall prices going down, or are they flat, or are they going up still?
No, they're not going down. They're pretty level. Okay. It depends on the market,
of course.
And the zip code and the area, but generally they're pretty flat.
For the Portland metro market, our condo market's really soft, and I would say even going down at this point.
Yeah.
But our single-family detached residence, most of those prices are going up.
That's great.
And so if a buyer doesn't jump in on it, then they lose, right? Like our buyer who bought a year ago was super happy they bought a year ago, and goes forward.
Right.
Somebody was talking to me about that it's a buyer's market, not a seller's market. And I'm like, no, it's a seller's market. Like it's on the seller's side, right? But his point was interesting because his point was, but your buyers are super happy that they bought. Like sellers, if they hold, will probably make more money over time because we are seeing prices go up as well.
Right.
But the buyers, if they don't jump in, like they have to jump in. And because of affordability, it means they're not buying their forever house.
Right.
They're buying their 2-year house.
Right.
They're buying their right now house that then if we do our job right, they'll call us in a couple of years or 3 years, and we'll be there to help them leverage. Or, I'm sure you're going to do the same thing as interest rates come down, which I think they will in the next 12, 24, 36 months. I don't know. Let's hope.
Hopefully the election will help with that.
We're going to be calling people and saying, hey, it's time.
Exactly.
Like it's time to refinance. If this is your window. Although I certainly would have told you a year ago that rates would be lower in October 23 than they are. So I'd have been wrong.
I know, it's hard to know.
I know. I don't think we're at the top either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We have a little bit more, so we'll see. Yeah. So as you're talking to your sellers who are competing against the new construction in your market, how are you balancing that out? How are you balancing out the fact that they can't spend $25,000 on a rate buy down? Or what does that look like for them?
So we're showing them all of the competition in the market, and we're helping them to see where they're positioned in the market. And for the sellers that aren't realistic, they're just not real sellers, and so we're not.
They aren't motivated enough.
Exactly. And but we're coming up with different pricing strategies. We're reaching back in our toolbox, and we're using strategies that worked when we were digging out of the recession. So value range pricing is coming back, and some of that. So that's been helpful.
Have you seen any increasing the buyer's agent commission in your market yet?
Yes, in fact, we're doing that.
I like that. That's one of my favorite tricks.
Higher. Yeah, it works really well. It's effective.
It just motivates that buyer's agent to pick that house.
Exactly.
Whether they should or not, it just helps as you go through that.
It's real.
Yeah.
So for some of the agents that are having trouble with getting a home sold, we're finding that we can front end that by doing really great listing videos, and then we're doing targeted YouTube advertising to the locations where people are moving from, So for example, we know people are moving from Chicago, from Michigan, from San Francisco, from Seattle, etc. Some from New York are moving to our area. And so we're creating content and video around our listings, and we're attracting it to those markets. And that's actually really effective.
And your sellers probably love that because sellers always ask us, how are you talking to those California buyers who are moving to Portland?
Exactly.
And I'm like, those California buyers have local realtors. But you're right, with that targeted YouTube advertising, you can really target, because in our market, it's like, we want Southern Californians to come because they'll pay more.
Right.
Like, that's the perception, right?
Exactly.
Reality, probably not, but that's the perception.
Yes.
So that's what all of our sellers want.
Right, exactly. And that's how we do it. So that How Money Moves website has been really helpful with that.
That is a really good resource for that.
Yes, love it.
Yep. And I like watching where relocation happens and what they're doing and what they're thinking about.
Yes, it's fascinating.
Tell us a little bit more about your market specific. So wine country, north of San Diego.
Yes, so my office is in Temecula, California. It's about an hour north of San Diego, and it's absolutely beautiful. The weather is really mild. We're still really close to Orange County in LA, so it's a huge commuter market.
Okay.
And the lifestyle is incredible, and it's growing rapidly. So I still think it's undervalued. A lot of people are coming in from Seattle, LA, San Diego, and they're just thrilled with the pricing. So it's a great market. It's very family friendly. The schools are ranked really high.
So good infrastructure to kind of support that.
Exactly, yes. But it's a commuter lifestyle, or people live there if they work from home. Yeah. It's great for remote workers. And then San Diego is my home. So we work heavily in San Diego, and it's becoming Silicon San Diego, which is really exciting. There's a lot of companies coming in. Apple, Google, et cetera, are there now.
So helping with a little bit of that technology growth in the business and jobs.
It is, definitely.
Yeah, San Diego's a beautiful city. So like, how would you, I want to live there.
Yeah.
Jessica, thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Jenny Turner with Lovejoy Real Estate. Follow, like, subscribe, do all the things. I'm so happy you could join us today.
Jenny, thanks so much for having me. It was such a pleasure. I'm Jessica Foote with Native Real Estate, and if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Jessica Foote on Instagram or at native_real estate.